Joining us tonight, Chris Farrell. He's the Director of Investigations for Judicial Watch. And Chris, I've just got to say, as much as I, like everyone else, was repulsed by the tactics of the Dems with their politics of destruction in the Kavanaugh confirmation process, I was thrilled to see them revealed. They were exposed as they have never been before, and I don't think they have any idea to what degree the American people have taken a lesson watching them on television.
I agree. Their actions really illuminate what they're all about. The American public sees through it in about 2 seconds, and it's abhorrent. They're repulsed by it. And the more they kept talking and acting, all their hysterical, really corrupt, verging on treasonous behavior they engaged in, the American public saw them for exactly what they were. They can't stand it. They find it repulsive. They see what the truth is. And I think in very large measure, it all accrues to the benefit, not just most immediately, of course, of Justice Kavanaugh, but to the president and those persons that support him.
Chuck Schumer actually had the temerity. Senator Schumer said, looking out from the floor of the Senate as he was giving his speech, and he was talking about, he was bemoaning the politics of destruction of the hard right in this country. And he said it with a straight face. That is, to me, the ultimate in the duplicity and the venomous deceit of the left in this country, and they make no apology whatsoever for being absolutely without conscience, without soul.
What we've seen is this weird, I mean, these are like Bolsheviks and something out of, the Chinese Cultural Revolution. Mm-hmm. Their conduct is so outrageous. It's so off the charts. It's really unhinged. The only thing I regret is that Chuck Schumer didn't start crying. That would have been, I think, the cherry on top for his performance on the floor of the Senate. They're not to be believed. And anybody with any sort of practical experience, any real world, not this Washington nonsense, not all the hyperbole and the posturing and all the phony Spartacus stuff. Everyday, average, normal Americans who love the country and they want to believe in their government, they want to see justice done. They saw through all this stuff. They realized it was phony garbage, and they could tell it was all set up as a manipulative effort to do an end run.
I believe that the American people, and when you talk about average Americans, the great thing about this country is we're all average Americans. I really believe that. And I cannot conceive of a Democratic Party as woefully as they have dropped their standards and lost their way, that they no longer care about this country's working men and women, working families in this country, that it is taking this president, President Trump, to awaken the need, the desperate need to build, not tear down our middle class, to bring manufacturing back to this country, to have judges who stand for the principle, who stand for the original text of the Constitution of the United States, who will interpret the Constitution, not try to create new law or diminish that Constitution they've sworn themselves to defend and protect.
And in the case of Justice Kavanaugh, you have President Trump, who enjoys fighting. He likes it, and he's very good at it, and he's not afraid of it, like probably 3/4 of the Senate. We have Senator Graham, obviously, who stepped up and did a fine job. Senator Collins came to the rescue. But the president, he enjoys pushing back. Yeah. He's not going to take the garbage. When there's lies, when there's all this manipulation and phony stuff going on, he has no qualms calling it out. And he does it in a way that the American people understand, they identify with. And that's why, with the exception of, the New York, Washington, San Francisco, Los Angeles corridors, every place else in the country, what the president says rings true. The American people see it, they understand it, and you have someone like Justice Kavanaugh, supremely qualified, actually getting through, and it's a huge victory.
It is a huge victory, and and we have the sense that there are going to be even greater victories ahead for this president and for this country. And there is this president, I've said I believe for about 6 weeks ago, there was an inflection point at which he demonstrated to the American people that all of these slings and arrows and curses and hysterics on the part of the left will mean nothing to him. And that the defiance of President Xi or President Putin or the Ayatollahs are immaterial because they are only words, and that it's going to take minds as great as his with hearts as big as his to actually compete against the United States, whether that becomes, hopefully not, militarily, whether it's economic, or in any way in geopolitics. He has put up a standard in this country that future presidents will be judged by. Mark my words. Yep. Future presidents will be judged by the standards he is setting for energy, for work, for imagination, for creativity and intelligence. And, you know, God, I hope that we have a bunch of presidents who can at least meet some of those standards going forward, because he has, as one man, he has turned the direction of this country. And the American people now sense that and know it. And he makes Bob Mueller, Chuck Schumer look a little Laputian, as they are.
Well, you know, the president has taught foreign leaders, the Chuck Schumer, Hirono, Feinstein, Democrat wing. I'm being generous when I say that, but that element.
You are indeed.
But frankly, even some pretty squishy establishment Republicans, he's taught them all a lesson. Guess who's in charge? He is.